Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, we got an episode for you guys here today that you definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all are fully aware, the NBA, over the last few years, let's say over the last 10 years or so, has really turned into a players' league. And it seems like players now today have more power than they've ever had at any other point in time, right? And with the advent of some of these podcasts, these independent podcasts, where now NBA players can go out there and really say what they think about the state of affairs and where they stand with the NBA and how they view themselves as brands and, you know, entities onto themselves, you can tell that a lot of players right now are really wielding their power, right? They're really throwing their weight. Throwing their weight around. And in some cases, I believe that we can even look at certain examples to show you just the amount of power that players have. You can look at examples of Ben Simmons. You can look at examples of James Harden, who just pretty much did whatever the hell he wanted to do. And now we can look at the latest example of Kevin Durant. Now, it's not to say that these guys are the only examples. I just think that they're the latest examples that we can draw from. And I think there are people out there like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe that has warned these NBA players publicly that a lot of these moves that they're making is going to come back and bite them in the butt in the future. Shannon Sharpe has said it. We've covered that. Stephen A. Smith has said it. And the next CBA is going to be unlike something we have ever seen before, in my personal opinion. Now, over the weekend, former NBA player Brandon Jennings had some very strong things to say about the current state of affairs in the NBA. And he was calling out some players like Chris Paul and LeBron James by name. And he was definitely putting a label to, he was putting a name on it when he was calling out these guys. But before we get into his comments, because he said quite a lot, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolf, so check that out. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what I want to do is get into the tweet. Now you can get this from a number of sources. I'm just getting it. From fadeawayworld.net, and I just really want to get into his tweets here. So basically, he said, for one, whoever made this a player league was the stupidest thing ever for the game of basketball. And I think someone responded to him, was it David Stern? He said, nah, I feel like it was CP3, Bron, and them speaking on players, this and that. And my thing is, get the money, I understand, but the passion for the game is lost. Kids don't even watch games anymore. Just go to highlights on Twitter and Instagram. And then somebody else said, so what are your suggestions, solutions? He said, you have to put something in everybody's contract to where you have to average this or play so many games. You have to do this to get that money. They just did it to Zion. Listen, the NBA is on its way. It's on its way like NFL. He also went on to say, it's only a couple guys in the NBA that love the game. Outside of the NBA, kids make so much money now they think they care. I'm a fan of the game of basketball. Why would I go pay to watch players that can decide whenever they want to play? NBA got to change its rules. And then finally he says something else here. Bron and CP earned that, but it's not for everybody is what I'm saying. Certain players can do certain stuff, but everyone can't be comfortable trying to go get that off. It's still a business and system to respect. Y'all heard what he had to say, and boy, it was a mouthful, and boy, do I hate reading quotes from people, man. I'm telling you guys. Anyway, you heard what he had to say, and I think this is going to be a major discussion, and I got a lot of things that I want to say. A lot of things that I want to say, and I want you guys to bear with me. Now, from my point of view, as a fan, right, because I'm a fan first, I think the people here that are really losing are the fans. If you ask me my honest opinion, I don't think it's the players. I don't think it's the league. The league is still making a lot of money. They're getting ready to sign a new TV deal, I think, worth $75 billion, 3 times what the last one, which was around $25 billion. The league is making money. Player salaries are ballooning right now. Guys are making, you're going to see a time when guys are making $400, $500 million on one contract. You better believe it. That's where the NBA is heading with all of these TV deals and the profit splits and the revenue splits that these guys have going on. So that's the first thing. I think the NBA fans are the ones that are losing here, because these are the guys that are going out there spending their hard money, and they're not really, to Brandon Jennings' point, not, you know, in a night in, night out basis, they don't even know if they're going to see their favorite players. That's the first thing. The other thing is that it seems as if NBA contracts have no value anymore. Like, NBA contracts are the only contracts where you signed them, and the only thing that's guaranteed in that contract is not your John Hancock, it's just the money that's involved. You can get the money, but everything else, man, that's all. We can just rip that up and go out about our business and go do something else. That's the peculiar nature of NBA contracts. They seem to have no value anymore. They have no binding effect, it seems like. That's another thing that's worth talking about. Then you have the situation where guys missing games left and right, and Kawhi Leonard, who is my favorite player, is one of the faces of this, or rather we can call it load management. Kawhi Leonard was one of the faces of it, and it was something that started with the San Antonio Spurs with Greg Popovich, right? If we want to go back to the genesis, to the root of it, it was with Greg Popovich when he was sitting players like Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan. One time he did it because he was upset with the way the NBA did the scheduling. He sat them down on a major game. I think it was against the Miami Heat. Sent them home, right? Sent them home. And I think Kawhi Leonard came from that system. Took it to Toronto, but obviously came off an injury. Then he went to the Clippers, and then it was only when they brought in Ty Lue, when Ty Lue was able to encourage him, like, hey, listen, man, you got to play back-to-backs. If you're healthy, you got to play. Period, end of story. And Ty Lue was the one that really got Kawhi Leonard moving in the right direction, but he was the one, right? And this is something that is running rampant in the NBA right now. Then, of course, you bring up comments like the ones that Kyrie Irving just recently made, allegedly, when he said playing back-to-backs are inhumane. That's cuckoo talk, right? Playing back-to-backs in the NBA, making $30+ million a year is inhumane. You sound like you're out, like you have lost touch with reality. What are you contrasting that with? Like, seriously, when you say inhumane, have you seen people go through inhumane treatment for you to say something like that? Then you have the Kyrie Irving stuff, which is a totally bad look, and I think comments like that are going to continue to alienate the fan base. NBA fans are working people. They're not just some entity that nobody can identify. These are human beings. And a lot of them are not making millions of dollars. And when they're going out there working their tails off and patronizing the game that they enjoy, and they're hearing players say this type of things, it's going to rub people the wrong way. Some of these guys are sounding tone deaf, and they don't realize that they're turning away their customers, which is the fans. Because if there's no fans, there's no TV deals, there's no money on ticket sales and all of this. This is the part that I just cannot believe. I can't believe how this is so complicated. That the fans, they don't get this. And if it's me, I would do every single thing in my power to make sure that I'm always on good terms with my fans, because they're the paying customers. But for whatever reason, this is some complex logic for a lot of these guys. That's the first thing. And finally, I want to move to another point. I also think he's talking about, and this is the part we're going to get contentious in this video, but I don't really care because it's my opinion. If you guys like it, if you don't like it, whatever. But I have the right to give my opinion. You guys have the right to disagree with me, so on and so forth. I also think he's talking about the competitive balance or lack thereof in the NBA. He is talking about the competitive balance with the advent of these super teams. Now, some people can say, well, really, the people we need to look at are the Boston Celtics 2008 Big Three. Right? And we could in a way, but really we can't. Why? Because of their ages. Because of their ages. If you go back and look at those guys' ages in 2008, Ray Allen was 33 in 2008. 2009, he was 34. Okay. What is it? Paul Pierce was 31. The next year, he was 32. Kevin Garnett at the time, was 32 years old. So these were guys in their mid to late 30s. That was that big three, right? Now, was it a power move? Hell yeah, that team won 66 games that year. But we knew that it wasn't going to be something that was going to be going on for the next 4 to 5 years because these guys were going to get old. Now, if you contrast that with what LeBron James and the Miami Heat did, I personally believe that LeBron James and the Miami Heat move totally destroyed the competitive balance in the NBA, period, and the story. And I'll debate that with anybody. Why? Because of their ages and the caliber of players. If you consider LeBron James the best player in the world, which some do, right? Or at least at that time, whatever. And he joins a team with another finals MVP in Dwayne Wade and a 20-10 guy who was getting his team to the playoffs with Chris Bosh. What the hell do you think you just formed? You're going to compare that to the Boston Celtics Big Three? You only do that when you want to play a silly, stupid game. And these guys like to play this game. Let me give you the ages of LeBron and those guys when they made that move. When LeBron James joined the Miami, he was 26 years old. 26 years old. About 2 years younger than Giannis right now. 26. Dwayne Wade was 28 and Chris Bosh was 26. These guys were in the heart of their primes. And that was the difference. It was such a egregious move that it totally turned off the entire NBA. It is the reason why the Heat were hated all throughout the NBA. The only person that supported the Miami Heat were Miami Heat fans, right? So even the fans understood that that was such a disgusting move. It was a disgusting move. And then from there, KD took a page out of his book, LeBron's book, and wrote an entire book with it when he joined the Golden State Warriors, when the NBA just became totally unfair, right? KD got that from him. I think he's also talking about the competitive balance. Things only changed. They only changed when Kevin Durant decided to leave the the Golden State Warriors and go to Brooklyn, and Kawhi Leonard, who was fresh off winning the Finals MVP against the Golden State Warriors, had an opportunity to go sign with the Lakers because LeBron was trying to recruit him to form another super team, my God. And Kawhi Leonard said, nah, bruh, I'm going to go to the Clippers. People are like, really? You going to go to the Clippers? You're going to leave the Lakers? Like, yeah, I'll do anything except this foolishness. So Kawhi went to the Clippers, and that one single move, what did it do? It ended the super team because it created parity in the NBA. And at that point, you needed 2 players to win. And when LeBron James and Anthony Davis won the championship, it shattered the myth that you need a super team to win in today's NBA. So there were a lot of things that has happened. And now we've reached the point where I think the final straw is going to break this camel's back if this thing continues to trend this way. You just saw the news with Kevin Durant. The thing has run rampant. With KD walking into the owner. Imagine Kevin Durant. I don't know how much he's worth. Maybe $400-500 million, whatever the hell he's worth. He walked into an office of Josiah, an $8 billion guy, and was making demands. Things have gone that cuckoo. Imagine how cuckoo you got to be to walk into a multi-billionaire's office making demands with his team. But that's what's happened. Players are emboldened. And I'm sure Josiah looked at this guy and must have been like, is he serious? Somebody I'm paying your salary and you're going to walk in and start making demands after I listen to you? You can't even be serious, right? And I think some of these owners are not going to put up with it. Some of these owners, man, a lot of people be thinking, oh, these dudes are, because you see them, they look short or they look docile or whatever. You're dealing with some of the biggest, toughest people out there because you don't get to that level with being a pushover. You don't. You don't do well in business. I don't care who you are, or being a pushover and being sweet. And for whatever reason, these guys feel like, okay, we're going to go in there and throw our weight around. And he looked at him and said, you must have the wrong person in here. You must have the wrong person. You don't get to walk into my office and start making demands to me. Where else does that happen in the universe except in the NBA? So I think he's also talking to this and I'm speaking to this, and it's going to spark a robust conversation, a conversation that needs to be had, in my personal opinion. Things are running amok, and now we see with the power in the players' hands, things have just gone totally awry, Because now it's like a free for all. Nobody knows what the hell is happening anymore. No one knows. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this, and I think the most valuable commodity in all of this. The most valuable commodity in all this, which is the NBA fans, is being lost. That's my opinion. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.